All right, one thing that I read on Twitter. How you doing, Ben? You awake still?
I'm yawning, bro. I need some caffeine.
We appreciate you staying up over there in the UK. Yeah, so let's talk about this FaZe Envy one last second. Envy fans were letting me know that FaZe Parasite could be coming for some redemption. He'd be taking it to the next level, trying to prove that their drop was a bad move. True or false, or just a pretty story?
Pretty story. I mean, fun fact for you, Puckett. So when Rambo was dropped from Team Envious, the reason he was dropped, as they came out and said, was we need more slaying power. We need more slaying power. I think Rambo's KD from COD Champs, I think it was like a 1.4. It was something crazy. It really was. It was very, very high. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was ridiculously high. Parasite has not once at any event had a better KD than Rambo did at his last event. So
still saying it's a problem. Still saying it's a problem.
I don't think. Yeah, he's gonna want redemption for being dropped, but at the end of the day, this is a G3 championship Team Envious team. They're not bothered.
Not bothered.
All right, come at me, Parasite. That's what I'd be saying if I was any of the Envy guys, if I'm honest.
Let me introduce you to my new friend Formal. And
yeah, pretty much, right?
And an angry Captain Merc who is slaying everything, especially in Blitz. So let's keep this going. Team Caliber Curse/Vanquish is next. Vanquish, if they get the big upset as I have predicted in my bracket, I think they come in really excited and then get stomped. I think Team Caliber, they're going to be ready for this matchup. They'll be prepared regardless of who their opponent is. TK always looks good to me in the early rounds. I'm expecting them to still have that energy come Saturday morning.
Yeah, TK going to walk through whoever they play. Doesn't matter. Even if it is Curse and Curse are playing well, TK should be able to just destroy them, if I'm honest, I think. Yeah, it just looks so good.
I was looking at the CODpedia earlier today and just trying to see, what went down at AEL, just in case this matchup happens again. And if you look at what went down, it was TK on top. They went 3-2 against Excellence Pro, so a squad, Snipe Down's team, who I said will probably come through and make it into the champ bracket. But then they had to face off in the grand finals against Curse. And if Excellence took them to Game 5, well, Curse only took them to Game 3. It was a 3-0 sweep. I think TK is going to remember that. I think Curse is going to remember that. And they'll definitely have the head advantage. TK goes through with a 3-0, I think, for both squads. You agreeing with that? 3-1,
yeah.
3-2? 3-0.
3-0. It doesn't matter who they play.
And finally, we asked all you fans to tweet us. Ben, I don't know if your timeline looks like mine, but I got about 79,000 optics will beat Denial. One guy said that Denial is going to take this.
Yeah, he must be drunk or something.
Or he must be on the team of some sort.
Maybe,
so shout out to you, Denial guy, who believes that Nadeshot, Clayster, Proofy, and Scumpy are going to struggle with this team. We've seen crazier things, right? Like what?
And before they do, and this guy is basically a guru.
What happened at Gfinity? What went wrong for Optic there, in your opinion?
Honestly, I couldn't put my finger on it because I expected them to do very well. Obviously, there was some drama at the very, very end. Obviously, the bomb glitch is always something which is very, very difficult to put a ruling on. It's not Gfinity's fault by any means.
Right.
It was very, very difficult to deal with, and it's hard to say, to be completely honest, because no one really knows what went on with the Optic team apart from the guys themselves. But I think after their performance, they're going to be hungry. They're going to want to come into this event very, very hot, and they're going to just try and finish on a high. Because with a new game coming out, you want to sort of start just with that extra level of confidence. Knowing you were the best team on the last game is going to give you winners. I mean, look at EG. They kind of did that. They snowballed. The end of Black Ops 2, they just kind of carried that momentum through onto Call of Duty Ghosts. And, well, we all know what happened with that.
So, just to remind anyone who did not watch Gfinity, what happened with Optic Gaming was they started off really well. They had to play pool play in their pool. They had Vitality, one of the strongest teams coming out of France, and they had Envy. Well, Envy gave them the quick 3-0. And at that time, I don't think they were that upset. They're like, yeah, we get to go home early, get some rest. Well, the next day, they show up against Epsilon, who won their group. Optic getting second in their group set up this matchup. Game number 1, Epsilon set the tone in domination. They win it by about 15. Game number 2, Optic comes back and search and destroy. They then go to a very clutch blitz map. I think this one might have even been replayed, but it was 6-5 overall. Just one cap separated these two teams. Very close Octane blitz. From there, though, it was Epsilon coming back from a 2-1 deficit, winning Game 4. They win that by 10 points in domination, and then shutting out Optic 6-0 in Search and Destroy. Is Denial a team that can execute like that in S&D against Optic Gaming?
I mean, you want to say yes, but at the same time, I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think Optic's S&D, that really let them down. Again, that was an interesting map where they did get shut down 6-0, but I just can't see Optic letting that happen again. And the way I'm looking at it right now is in this bracket, that's the second game they're going to play in the bracket. I think they're going to have momentum coming in from the first. They're going to feel pretty comfortable by this time. They're going to be very settled in, you know. I think this should be just another game. I think the tricky game could potentially be in the next round for those guys.
All right, so you got Optic moving on past Denial. What's their score here in the best of 5?
3-1.
3-1. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think it will not be a 3-0. I think Denial's going to put up a fight. Will they be able to take Game 1, or will it be Optic taking it and setting the tone? If Optic takes Game 1, I think it could be a 3-0. But Denial, I'm hoping they start off strong and get some confidence and give us a good show, because Optic's really going to want a powerful warm-up before facing off against TK in the semifinals. So let's go ahead and skip Nation and Envy. We'll get to that in a moment, but let's go straight to Team Caliber versus Optic Gaming. Both of these squads performed pretty well on Friday. Come Saturday, or come day 2 at Gfinity, they both go out of the money, neither of them finishing in the top 4. Lot to prove for both of these teams. Does TK have what it takes to take out Optic Gaming here?
No.
No.
I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. I think every time they've come up against a big game, they haven't performed as well as they should have done. I mean, you can look at some of these players, you know, in any major tournament, go back to COD Champs, go back to any MLG final where TK have been there. They just haven't had that clutch factor, and I think that's going to happen again against Optic Gaming, if I'm honest, but I still expect them to do a bit of a run in losers bracket. Wouldn't surprise me to see TK potentially in the losers bracket final. I could potentially see that happening, depending on the bracket, of course, if they do get lucky. But at this point, with Optic Gaming being down and having 2 games under their belt, I think this is when you're going to start seeing the Green Wall momentum really come in. You're going to see Scumpy on form probably, and I think an on-form Scumpy in Respawn doesn't really matter what map it's going to be. I just think he can shut down TK. They have so much slaying power. You know, Proofy and Clayster as well made shots objective work.
Right.
I just don't think TK will be able to hang on.
TK's got to make some big plays. Theory is the player to watch in this series for me. He has to put up serious numbers, because Optic Gaming is going to bring that slaying game. He can't just purely focus on the objective. He needs to put up big numbers. And Sharp, can Sharp play like he did at the X Games? He went so big for his team time and time again, put up some serious numbers, one of his best tournaments. If he can have that again, they have a chance. But without Apathy, adding in Theory now in that missing spot, I'm a little worried for TK. Optic Gaming, they were able to, make Envy look pretty bad at Anaheim. They had an off Gfinity, but I'm expecting them to be back.
Yeah, I honestly, I hope they are back as well, because I think that's going to be another game that's going to be great to watch. And that's something that was awesome as well. You look at so many of these games in the bracket and you start thinking, well, it could go either way, but you expect it to go a certain way. For example, this one. What's interesting is it's going to be close. I think every single map is going to be close, and that's the case with a lot of these games in this bracket. Now we're at the end of this game's life cycle. All these games are close. Everyone's kind of on the same page now. There's no sort of big gap between certain teams anymore. And especially add the fact that EG isn't at this event, as we mentioned before, blows it wide open.
All right, let's go down to our other semifinal. So we have 2 matches left, semifinal number 2 and the final here in our winners bracket. Optic Nation Envy, number 1 seed versus number 5 seed, according to our Pro Points rankings. Envy coming off Gfinity victory. Optic Nation looking for their first major tournament championship. How does Nation stack up against Envy in your mind?
Not that well. not that well at all. I think Nation is one of those teams where they're going to be, again, relying so heavily in their search and destroy. I think in Respawn, there's no... I can't see it happening. Against the slaying power of Formal is going to be cutting them down. Jacob's going to be slaying them down. They obviously have gun skill. They're professional club players for a reason, but Formal's on another level when it comes to his accuracy and the amount of slaying he can really do. S&D is must win now. For me, it comes down to whether Nation can sneak the blitz.
They can't, that's their worst. The blitz is where they struggle, and that's what has me going Envy in this match.
That's the exact same reason I did. I can't see Envy losing a domination at all. If let's say Envy don't win an S&D, and let's say, you know, Nation do take it, it's just the blitz. That's what it comes down to. Nation not playing that well at blitz so far. Envy, again, they look so dominant at blitz back at G3, in my personal opinion. They played very, very well, so for that reason, I put Team Envy as through.
So, let's play devil's advocate here and fight for the Optic Nation argument. If Optic Nation is able to take this series, I see them taking an early dom. Game 1 is a must. Game 2 should be close, but it should be Nation again. Envy bounces back with blitz, then they carry the momentum into Game 4. Game 5, of course, Kill, we say he's so good at S&D, but overall, what would happen in a search and destroy if given the map? Let's say it's Octane Search.
Interesting you say that, Octane Search. So that's going to depend on two things. Nation's push, which bomb site they want to push on the attacking side, whether they're going to try and use smokes, whether Formal's using a sniper rifle as well, that's going to be key to note. If it did go to Octane Search, I would put money more likely on Nation picking that up because of Killer's strategies on that map. I know he loves playing that map personally. He kind of hates it at the same time, though. It's an interesting one because there's so many different angles that you have to cut off. But that's, you know, Killer's renowned for using smokes, right?
Right.
He loves that smoke push. So he's going to be using a lot of those on Octane. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Nation should pick up an Octane S&D. It'd be interesting if that's a 5th map. If it does go to 5th map and that's the 5th, that will be very interesting because I don't know. I just can't see it going that far. That's the issue for me. I cannot see Nation picking up that blitz.
If you look back at Optic Nation's domination and blitz records, they were actually able to take TCM out 3-0, which was a big surprise in pool play.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of people were shocked by that. They said, you know, FaZe, TCM, Optic Nation, the hardest pool at Gfinity 3. Well, they were able to beat them on Strike Zone, and that was what really got the momentum going. So I think a Game 1 victory, again, was huge. They were able to then 6-0 TCM. In Blitz, they were able to win a Warhawk. TCM just had too many holes in their defense. But this Envy squad, I feel like their defense is going to be a little bit tougher for them in Blitz. And then if you look at, say Envy matches up closer to FaZe than they do TCM. Just make that argument. Well, Sovereign was a 6-point game. It was sloppy by both teams. At the end, there was some clutch work at the home base. But then Nation, after winning that Game 1, lost Search and Destroy 6-4, so they're upsetting their best game mode. They went 30 caps in Freight, but lost that one by 2 on Blitz. And then the final domination after losing the Blitz, like I said earlier, they looked demoralized, and it was FaZe coming out 178-122 in domination number 2. So same map, Strike Zone, they beat TCM. They take that Game 1. Game 4 against FaZe, they get blown out in it. So I think it's all about getting the good maps and getting the first win for Optic Nation in this tournament. But hey, man, they faced off against Envy. Last time it was Envy taking it 3-1, but the maps were 7 points in Freight Dom, 2 points in Search. And
was it 1 point Dom, right? Was it Dom Octane?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It was, wasn't it?
Everyone called it 90 seconds. I think it was you casting, and you said, this map is over. There's no way Nation can come back.
Just like that?
And they came all the way back, losing by 1 point.
So technically I was correct.
Technically.
Same.
Yeah.
Technically. My mere technicality was correct. Yeah, I'm just trying to... See, that makes it kind of more interesting. Now I'm trying to remember a bit more about G3. Again, it's all about maps for me. If we knew the maps, we'd be able to just basically say, all right, they're going to win that, they're going to win that, we're going to know a little bit more about it. But yeah, Dom Octane, that was an interesting one, a 1 point game. I think that was actually the closest Envious came to losing at Gfinity, I believe. So
yeah, that was an insane comeback there from Optic Nation, but it was almost... You know, I wanted to yell at you for calling the game so early, but it looked like it was going to be domination because it was Envy. Right. You know, they had total control, and then they got 3-capped on Octane. It can happen to anyone. We've seen it at tournaments time and time again. So
championship.
It could happen. We'll see what is going to happen between this matchup. Really excited. Optic Nation versus Envy. You guys let us know who you have. I'm going to go with you inside with Envious here, just based on recent history and the fact that I feel Blitz is their game. 10-1 Warhawk Blitz. I think you can give Envy the advantage on any other map as well. So that would set up Envy Optic Gaming winners bracket finals. Guys, we have one more commercial break. When we come back, we'll break down the final match of the night right here on the UMG Dallas Bracket Show.